What's up, friends? Happy Aloha Monday, as we say in the islands. Welcome back to another episode of Healing with Pumehana, where we have really raw and vulnerable, conversations about incidences, life, growth, and healing. So here, hold on. Alexa, stop. Forgive me. This is real life, right? Out of nowhere, one of my echoes just started playing Barbie music, which is, yeah, I have two little girls, so that's just gonna happen. But once again, here on Healing with Pumehana, I sit down and I process and unpack some of the things that I personally am going through, simply so that I can model what healing and what growth looks like. Because more oftentimes than not, there's so many things out there. There's all of the tools, all of the resources, all of the people telling you should be doing this, or this is what you're supposed to do. But when we are in like a highly elevated emotional state, then all of those things kind of go out the window. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to be able to practice those skills. But I found that when things are modeled for me specifically, I found that when things are modeled for me, then it's a lot easier, simpler. It reminds me of what it could look like, not the way that it should look like, because healing and growth looks different for everyone. So let's dive into it, shall we? Give you a little bit of context. This past weekend, a friend of mine came up to me. It was at my little girl's like school fair, and she came up to me and she's like, "Hey, are we good?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're fine." And she goes, "Well, you haven't said hi to me like the past few times that we've been in close quarters, we've been in the same places. You haven't come up to say hi to me." She's like, "Your kids have and your husband has, but you haven't." And that was a big blow. And I apologized, and I was like, "No, we're good. I have a lot of my mind." And I could tell that she was both at an elevated state, and so was I. We were both kind of triggered, and it was really, really interesting to see, and it was really, really interesting to feel. I've done enough work in which, I don't know, because I had felt myself going into that immediate fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. That's basically your nervous system responses. And I could feel myself going into that, almost fawn, right? I was like, "Oh no, we're okay. I'm really sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, and this and that." And it also sucked because she held the mirror up to me. Right? She like kind of checked me, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But this time, I was able to kind of stay close to baseline. I wasn't at baseline. I wasn't cool. I wasn't super cool, calm, and collected. But she did it in such a way that I could tell that she was at a high elevated state, and just super uncomfortable, because she had her stroller and she said it to me in passing. And then she just kept trying to walk away. And then we went up like, we came back together again, and she kept, like, moving and walking around with the stroller. And I was like, wait, hold on, just stay with me for a minute. Like, stay with me. Like, let's talk about this. And she's like, oh, well, no, I have to go get my son and this and that. And I was like, okay, but, you know, whenever you're ready, like, let's talk. And that was pretty much the gist of it. So I came back home. I mean, it was on my mind for a really long time. And if I'm being completely honest, she's not my favorite person in the world. And that's okay. What makes it really, really tricky, though, is that she is within my inner circle. You know, we have a tribe of her family and another family, and my family, with, you know, all of our spouses and all of our kids. And we're very closely and tight knit. And in my mind, my husband knows this because I've talked to him about it a lot too. You know, she's not my favorite person in the world. And I've already categorized her as not my people. And that was big for me. To be able to organize my relationships as, you know, my people in the sense of we are like-minded, we have the same core values, basically, of growth, of authenticity, of self-awareness, right? And honestly, also being an intellectual and being science-driven, research-driven, and at the same time open to spirituality, and marrying those two together. So those are my people, and also people who are extremely self-aware and introspective. So she's not entirely like that, and that's okay. But what I didn't realize is that subconsciously and sometimes consciously, I acted upon that, right? So we'd be in close quarters, and it was as simple as I didn't go up and say hi to her. And what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of unpack why that is and what that looks like. So I came home, and full transparency, you know, I did a little, I had to do work around this that very night, because it brought about my beliefs, thoughts, and actions created an environment, a result that wasn't, I mean, for lack of, it wasn't positive. It didn't create an environment of love. And that's not my purpose. That's not what I'm here to do. So this was just like a check. I'm choosing to see that this is a check from the universe saying, hey, this is something, and you can learn from it or you cannot. And you can approach it in the same way that you've approached it before, or you cannot. So what I did was I got super clear and honest with myself. So let's do that now. First thing that I did, and honestly, what we all need to do is when we are processing and unpacking things is to settle our nervous system. Right? Step one is always to get grounded, get calm, and get ourselves into a safe place where physically would be great, perfect. Honestly, I was sitting in this exact chair, and I think I had a pillow with me, because that's something that I do, is I'll usually like put a pillow in front of me, have my leg up. I took notes on my phone, and ideally, I would have journaled or written it out. But today, for some reason, or on that day, I decided to go on my phone. And, I took some breaths, relaxed the shoulders. I got really grounded and present. So we're going to do that right now. Notice how I relax the shoulders away from the ears. Allow my body to be heavy and grounded and present. And sometimes I'll even just say to myself, it's okay. You're safe. It's okay. Be here now. You're safe. You're safe. So now that I'm in this space, now that I feel the sense of groundedness, of safety, it's okay to bring out these feelings. It's okay to look at them, unpack them. The first thing that I asked was, is it true? Is it true that in certain situations or just sometimes I didn't go up to her and say hi? And I had to be honest. Yeah. Consciously, subconsciously, there were times that we'd walk into, because we typically, hang out at my friend's house. I walk into the house and I just walk straight to the kitchen. Or I don't say hi and I don't go up to her. Here in Hawaii, we honi honi, so we kiss on the cheek. Sometimes we hug. I had to be honest. I didn't do that. For whatever reason. Right? And that sucked. Right? Because what she said to me was true. And the next question that I asked was did I do it on purpose? I think sometimes that I did. And I think a lot of it was that I already categorized her, not my people, right? And in my mind, I created that wall. And in my mind, because I had that thought, this belief that she's not my people, that I didn't need to show her even that attention, which I can tell you right now, that's wrong, right? It was really interesting though, because after that, I took a pivot. I wanted to pivot of, hey, okay, it's true. Did you do it on purpose? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Are there other times in the past where you've done this? And here I'm looking for a pattern. Here I'm looking to see what other instances has this shown up in my life. Because more oftentimes than not, with anything that shows up, if it's happened once, it's happened before, right? So, yeah, I had to say absolutely. There's been times where I didn't want to say hi to people. And it had nothing to do with who they were as a person. It was my emotional state. It was my mental state of, I have my walls up. And I had to dig a little deeper into that. Okay? Why did I have my walls up? What do walls typically represent? Protection. Keeping me safe. Ultimately, protection. What is it that I'm trying to protect myself from? And actually, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Not too long ago, I went out. Some friends were hosting a beach cleanup. So, it was with, I only really knew these people, this one family, and there weren't a lot of other people that I did know. When I got there weren't a lot of people that I did know, and I kind of prepared myself for that, and I just, here in Hawaii, regardless of where you go, if it's a family event, family gathering, you go up and you say hi to everyone, whether you know them or not. It's just polite, right? I remember as a kid, I hated doing that. I hated doing that because I was so, not that I was shy, I just, I didn't know, right? And then our parents always do that. No, go up and say hi to everyone. I was like, I don't know these people. I don't know these people. And so coming back to that beach cleanup, I didn't go up and say hi. One, I didn't model that behavior for my children. And two, I didn't go up and say hi because why? Why, Pumehana? Because fear. Fear of what? Fear of judgment. Fear of judgment. And I want to pause right here to just recognize that fear and judgment are two very, very rich emotions. I don't want to say deep. They are very rich emotions. Fear is just this angst. It's this visceral anxiety of uncertainty. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's I don't know what's coming, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can unpack that a little bit more, but fear in itself is such, it's a big one. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I think about fear, I feel it in my chest. I know that some people feel it in Hawaiian, we call it in their na'au, their gut, right? Their sacral area. I know some people feel it in their shoulders. Some people feel it in their head. Some people also, I've had it where I feel it in my arms, sensations, tingling, just I want to do that, right? But when I feel fear viscerally, it is a contraction, a tightness, and a heaviness in my chest. And judgment is this idea of feeling, judgment makes me feel small. It makes me feel weak and helpless and powerless. That's it specifically. It makes me feel, I feel powerless when it comes to judgment. That other people have the power, have the authority. Other people's opinions impact me so deeply, right? So we take this fear, right? We take this visceral feeling this visceral feeling of uncertainty. And then we take this deep feeling of helplessness and powerlessness, and we marry that together. And that will absolutely cause somebody to want to protect themselves. And the way that shows up is staying small. So from parties as a kid to gatherings to, beach gatherings, like community events with people that you don't know, to being in a situation or being in a gathering, with close friends, and still having those same feelings come up. Things started to make a little more sense. Okay. So I had a wall. I had these feelings. And marry even those two together. wall, uncertainty, powerlessness. What am I looking for? I am looking for safety. I think that's what we're all looking for at any point in time, is safety. On a human development, like on a cognitive level, we look at the hardware that we're working with, our brains. Take it all the way back to caveman days. Because that's it, you guys. Like, we are operating, that's what makes this so interesting and spicy, our lives, our human experience. We look at what we're working with. On a hardware level, like, we've upgraded the software, we've upgraded the thinking, we've upgraded, what's going on around us, but our hardware is still wired to what we are experiencing, hundreds of thousands of millions years ago. And back in the caveman days, this feeling of uncertainty and fear and this feeling of powerlessness was, it was life or death, basically. It was basically the men who were foragers, right? Or hunter-gatherers, hunter-gatherer and foragers, right? They would go out and there's so much uncertainty. At any turn, there's a saber-toothed tiger or some sort of predator coming at us, right? And for the women, we were at home. We were in the caves. We weren't sure if the men were even gonna come back, right? So we leaned on our tribe. We connected with our tribe. And if we didn't if we stood out sometimes, if we said the wrong things, if for whatever reason the tribe kicked us out, we were on our own and we could possibly die. So it's really, really interesting if you look at your adversities through that lens, bringing it back with this other person. One, I had already decided consciously and subconsciously that she was not my people, right? And we're taking it another step deeper. It's also because I didn't feel safe with her. I didn't feel safe to be my whole and authentic self. And so I put walls up. I want to pause right here because to recognize that need for safety and to recognize the different circumstances and environments in which you don't have that is so powerful. We deserve to feel safe. We deserve... This is where our nervous system work comes in. Nervous system regulation. We need to feel safe. We deserve to feel safe. I want you to think about for yourself. Reflect for yourself. Think of some instances when you don't feel safe, when you haven't felt emotionally, physically safe. And I want you to make sure that you are in a safe place right now. Full transparency. Again, I'm going to pause right here and kind of break character, if you will. I am not a therapist. I do not have the skills, training, or capacity to help you process your past. I'm not saying that. I am modeling for you what it looks like for me to process my feelings, my big feelings, to unpack them and give them love. For you, decide on what that looks like for you and make sure that you are you have that support. Make sure that you have that foundation and that support team, and somebody who can hold space for you, who is trained to hold space for you and your big feelings and your past. What I'm doing right now, again, is finding what is missing and learning how to give it to myself. And that's what you need to do too. Sit down with these big feelings. Put yourself in a safe place. Find that safety bubble. Because that's what came to mind, and this is something that I share with my daughters, is that we can protect ourselves with a safety bubble. And what mine looks like is it's this beautiful, glowing, white and golden, shimmering bubble in which my wellness is protected, my energy, my love, my heart, and my wellness as a whole is here and protected. And the only things that come in, the only things that can drain me of that are the things that I allow to come in. But what I love about this idea of the bubble is that things can bounce off. Things can bounce off. And it's so much more loving than this idea of a stone brick wall of like, you shall not pass, right? But sometimes we need to have that kind of conviction, right? But for me, and what I encourage my girls and what I encourage you to do as well is to get into a quiet space and envision what that protection is like for you, what that loving protection is for you. And how can you keep your wellness in, and how can you give yourself that safety so that you don't go out looking for it from other people? Because what is it? I can't even remember the word. Like, spoiler alert, you won't get that from other people. Not entirely, right? Yes, we can find relief and reprieve with our friends, with our inner circle. Yes, there are people out there that we can lean on when we don't feel safe for ourselves, when we cannot give ourselves that safety. However, ultimately, what we are here for is to cultivate that own connection with ourselves and to give that to ourselves so that we can also overflow that into other people. So, bringing it back to this incident with my friend, it was a really huge aha moment. And later on in the evening, after I had all of these ahas, I actually reached back out to her. I text her and I said, thank you again for bringing this to my attention. Let me know when you're ready to talk about this further. I really want to resolve this. And I told her that I wanted to do it face to face. She gave me not quite a thought. You know how like she has an Android, so she did the thumbs up reaction, and I was like, okay, awesome. And I'm grateful that she even acknowledged it. And she didn't give me exactly what I wanted, and that's okay, right? I did my own work, and I'm here when she's ready. Now, at that point in the evening, I thought I was done. I thought I was done unpacking it, but I wasn't. It was so interesting to be able to watch my mind spiral and experience my mind spiral. So I actually went like to my husband and I was like, so what happens? What are we going to do if we basically get shunned, right? I'm like, what if within that inner circle that things just fell apart because of my own ego? What are we going to do? Like, what if we lose that relationship? And like, I care about this other family, because there's the three of us, right? This other family, I care about them so much, and I would hate to have lost that. What are we going to do? And he's like, we'll deal with it. I mean, that's not going to happen, but if it does, then we'll deal with it. And then I was like, okay. And this is where my meditation practice came into play. Being able to separate myself from the thought. Being able to notice the thought. Just notice the thought. It was so interesting and intriguing, because I was like, oh wait, this is it. This is me thinking about, this is me being scared and fearful and uncertain on a primal level of, what if we get kicked out of the tribe? What if we get shunned from the community, from the tribe? And that was so powerful to me. And then just proved, like, oh my goodness, I really am operating from an antiquated hardware and antiquated programming. This is the part that needs love and attention. This is the part that needs love and attention, because that's it's scary, right? It's scary. And then from there, giving it that love and attention, and also recognizing the pattern. Recognizing that pattern. Hey, when in the past have I felt this again before? When in the past have we experienced something like this before? And what did we do? And what do you want to do? It's going to be okay. Bring it back to that safety. Bring it back to that grounding. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, cut to today. These things are still coming back up. These feelings. How am I feeling? What do I do? How am I feeling? What do I do? I felt that anxiety come back up. I felt that fear. That fear of disconnection come back up. I'm like, what do I do? How can I fix this? How can I fix this? What do I need to do? What do I need to do? And it's, that sense of control. Wanting that sense of control. What can I do? What can I do? How can I fix this? And I've needed to bring myself back. Pull myself back in. Feel the feelings. Where am I feeling it? It's in my chest. Bring love there. Calm the nervous system. Regulate the nervous system. What do I say? It's okay. It's okay. What do I do? Relax the shoulders. Feel that sensation. Get grounded. Okay? What do I do? Nothing. Right now, I do nothing. And there's so much in me that's like, no, I need to fix this. I need to fix this now. But right now, I'm just do nothing. And that's okay. So, let's recap, shall we? Step 1, get grounded. Regulate the nervous system. Whatever that looks like to you. Whatever that looks like, whatever that sounds like. Get yourself into a safe place. Physically, sometimes come into your bed. I get easily stimulated and then overstimulated. So I do. I sleep with a weighted blanket every night. Get into a safe place for yourself. Is it in a chair? Is it in your bed? Is it on the ground? Is it with a pet? Do what you need to do. And then step 2, once you're grounded, once you have that feeling of safety, start to unpack it. Just ask yourself questions, layer by layer. First things first, and I actually learned this, first question from, it's an exercise called Judge Your Neighbor by Byron Katie. And the first question is it true? Is it true? What this other person is accusing you of, what you're experiencing, how, is what is happening true? And if you can say yes, then from there, what does that look like? No, it's not true. Okay. What does that look like? And as a coach, we have been taught that the question why can be a very tricky question, because some people get asked the question why and they get really, really defensive. Well, why do you think that is? But what I had noticed when I was unpacking this for myself, what I had noticed was that because I was in that safe place, because I felt so grounded, I absolutely could ask myself, why? Why do you think that you did that? Why do you think you're thinking this way? But these beautiful questions of what and why, they really open up. They open up your mind. They open up your heart. Sometimes the questions of how actually can be really, really tricky, right? But because how is asking you to come from a place of obviously not knowing, and it's like, how do I do this? I don't know how, right? So take it a step back. Asking yourself what questions are incredible. Identifying the things that you can identify. Why are you feeling this way? Or what informed you feeling this way? And as you go through this, this unpacking and uncovering and really just pulling things out from your heart, from your gut, getting calm and centered in where you're feeling it. Hey, where in your body are you feeling it? What are you feeling? I'm feeling a tightness in my chest. I'm feeling a tingly sensation I'm feeling tightness in my shoulders. For a lot of us women, we have that. We have this tightness in our shoulders because we feel like the weight of the world is on us. I'm feeling a tingling feeling in my fingers, just get grounded with that, get centered in that, and show it some love. Right? And then just keep asking yourself these questions. Groundedness. Remember safety. I am safe. It's okay. It's okay to feel these feelings. It's okay. And then you'll come to a point in which you start to see the light. You start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You start to feel the weightlessness. You start to see hope. Oh my God, you guys. That's what we're reaching for, is hope. Especially with uncertainty. Especially with fear and uncertainty. When you can start to see the light at the end of the tunnel. When you can start to see the glimmer of hope. That's when you know that the change and the transformation is happening. So, I honor you. I honor you guys for being here. Thank you so much for your eyes. Thank you so much for your heart and your attention. And I would like to encourage you to hold that space for yourself, to give yourself that love and attention. And And tell me, please share. Please share some of the things that are coming up for you. Please share some of your insights, because those things are powerful. And don't keep it inside for yourself. I've kept all of my healing inside for far too long, and it's time for me to share it. And I really hope that modeling this for you helps you with your journey. I really hope that modeling what it looks like to have compassion for yourself and for other people looks like, so that you can go out and do that for yourself, and you can create these tiny little transformations, these tiny little shifts in thinking, and that's going to snowball into the transformations that you see in your mind and in your beliefs and in your actions, and then in your results in your environment. So I'm sending you so much love. You guys, if this is something that you would actually like to do for yourself, I can help coach you guys. I can help coach you on what you're feeling right now and how you want to move forward, because that's what I specialize in. The processing the past, the unpacking the past, that is for a licensed therapist. But if you guys are ready to be present in where you are now and see what your options are to move forward, I'm totally here for you, and I would absolutely love to do that with you. Shoot me a DM, comment on this video. You guys, thank you so much. I'm so stoked for you. I'm sending you so much love, so much hope and safety. We'll see you guys next time. Aloha.